Well, it's been a minute.
Yes.
Sorry, we missed last week. Jennie was out of town. We didn't have anything recorded. And I know that the podcast is normally me talking at you for 30 minutes. But I felt like without Jennie here to break it up at least a little bit, it was just unfair. So I didn't record one by myself. But anyway, Jennie's back. We're back. Real time. So
Yes.
roll the intro. Welcome to the Let's Quit podcast.
Quitting is not always a bad thing.
If you have the right mindset, quitting can be the most powerful tool you have on your journey to success. It's certainly been helpful for us.
Whether it's flying through hurricanes, building our businesses, or just trying to get to bed on time, we're always trying to level up and improve our lives.
This is the show where we share the lessons, experiences, and friends that have helped us live this incredible life. So let's quit the bad and grow the good together.
All right, welcome back, guys. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. I think this is, I don't even know what episode, but
41.
41. Fantastic. Hey, thanks so much for supporting us, whether that's just sharing the show or listening to the show every week. We appreciate you. We've got some people over on Patreon that support us too. If you want to hop over there, it's patreon.com/jennieanddavis. We're still a listener-supported show, but honestly, the thing that would help the most is if you just shared it with a friend.
Yep. Organic growth. That's the best thing you can do for us right now. We don't want your money. Well, we do, but
we also just want your recommendation.
we'd like your friends' ears. That's more important to us.
Yes.
So anyway, what have we been up to? So let's back up, I guess, 2 weeks ago now.
Yes.
So you went and did your hurricane block.
Yes.
Talk about that.
I left and I went to Mississippi, which is where our unit is. And then I got down there and there really wasn't much going on in the Gulf.
What's your unit? What do you do?
The 53rd Weather Reconnaissance Squadron. We fly with the Hurricane Hunters. We are not pilots. We are the meteorologists in the back of the plane. We're basically like the mission directors. So we tell everybody where to fly, where to turn. We collect all the weather data and we send it off the plane to the National Hurricane Center so that they can make forecasts and storm tracks and all sorts of good stuff so that people can evacuate and get moved as early as possible.
Wait, so you fly through the storm? How do you do that? What do you do?
So basically we just...
You fly through the storm?
Yeah, right through,
like
smack
over
dab in the middle. No, right through the middle.
Wow.
Right through the stinking middle.
That's pretty cool.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Neat.
So when I got down to Mississippi to start flying, because we sign up in like 2-week chunks, like 2 weeks at a time. And yeah, when I got down there, there really wasn't much going on in the Gulf or the Atlantic. But then we had what turned into Tropical Storm Nicholas form in the Gulf. And so I flew that. I was actually the first one into the storm just to see what it was doing. It was pretty early on. I flew it when it didn't really even have any circulation, really. But then, 1 or 2 days later, it definitely started to strengthen. And I think it even got to a Cat 1 briefly, like right before it hit land, and then went back down.
Where did it hit?
It hit like right kind of east of Houston. The track was originally supposed to go like right to Houston. Yep. And so everybody was like getting ready. They had flood plans. And then it quickly went to a Cat 1 hurricane and then back down to a tropical storm. But then as it approached land, it kind of swung to the east. And I think honestly, like eastern Texas and western Louisiana ended up getting
it was just a bunch of rain.
Yeah.
It wasn't too much wind, but it was a lot of rain. I know a lot of people, I mean, of course, Houston is scarred by Hurricane Harvey,
right?
Which is like a 1 in 500 year shot. I don't know. I guess I can't say that because there was the one in 1900 or whatever that like there's the most deadliest storm on record. You know that? You know about that one?
Yeah.
It was like a cat. So like it was a Cat 5 hurricane that like huge Cat 5. So like Cat 5 is like wind speed, but this storm was massive. It was like as big or maybe bigger than Katrina, and it hit Galveston, and no one was prepared for it because Cuba was like not talking to us, and like when the storm came across the Hispaniola and Cuba and all of that area, like nobody was reporting to the United States that this was coming, so it just brewed and got way bigger in the Gulf with the warm water. And it slammed into Galveston. This is like 1900.
Well, also, I mean, if like the Hispaniola area was getting slammed with this storm, and we didn't have like great technology, how would they get the message?
Well, no,
if all their stuff was destroyed.
They had like telegraphs and stuff like that, and they just like for whatever reason, I don't know. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is like Hurricane Harvey was like a once in a generation type storm. So I can't say that, but like very unlikely that something like that happens again, although we do need to be prepared for it. Anyway, that's what people were expecting. I guess that's all I'm trying to say is that was people's impression. Right. That's what they were expecting. And then this little tropical storm blew in.
And we barely got any rain.
They may have canceled
like school and all sorts of stuff. People, we're like,
dude, I tried to go rock climbing that day. Like, and the gym was closed. Like I drove all the way over there and like everything was closed.
Yeah, people are definitely scarred from Harvey here. For sure.
Yeah.
But so then we flew that storm for a while. And then we realized that there was some stuff brewing over in the Caribbean. So all of these storms, if you don't know, come off the west coast of Africa.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Hurricanes and everything form off of the west coast of Africa.
Why?
Basically, you have some stronger easterly winds that once we get into this season, they increase in strength, and they're like pretty much straight like out of the east, and they blow a bunch of dust and all sorts of stuff.
Wait, so like the Sahara Desert is the reason we get hurricanes?
Correct. The Sahara Desert is a lot of the reason why we get hurricanes.
So let's just get a bunch of trucks and get all the sand out of there. And
good luck with that, my friend. Do you know how hot it is over there? My gosh. Anyways, so then we noticed something was coming off the west coast of Africa and was headed toward like the Greater Antilles kind of Caribbean island area. So we all went out to St. Croix, which is one of the U.S. Virgin Islands. It's southeast of Puerto Rico. And we fly a lot of our storms out of there just because it gets us closer to the storm, because it would take hours for us to fly from coastal Mississippi all the way out to like the eastern
like we wouldn't have enough
Caribbean
gas.
Islands. Yeah, it's a fuel thing. By the time we got there, we'd have to land and get more gas. So we fly them off this island. So I started flying Tropical Storm Peter. And I mean, it was just a normal tropical storm, and thankfully it stayed east of the islands, and then it swung up to the east and kind of died out. So good for the people on land. It didn't end up hitting.
And now they're flying Sam, right?
Yep.
When you were coming home, like Tropical Storm Sam formed. I think
it is now Hurricane.
It's now a hurricane.
Sam.
Wow. I saw they were predicting it to be a major hurricane too.
Yeah. So they were thinking. So when they predict it to be a major hurricane, basically what that means is they think it's at least going to be a Cat 3. Could be higher, but at least a Cat 3.
And again, category of storm is determined by maximum wind speed, which is usually in the northeast quadrant.
Yep.
So
of the storm, that's usually the highest wind speeds that we see.
Fun facts, yeah. It's not the whole storm is that wind speed. It's usually just that northeast corner of it.
Yeah, somewhere in that storm has a high enough wind speed to classify it as a Cat 3.
Correct.
So, so now people are still out there flying that. Yeah, and you're so torn because you're out there and you're like flying these storms and you're out with the crew. It's like, man, I want to stay and keep flying these things because you do get so into it. But I'm like, no, it's time. I got to come home. Got stuff to do.
Well, you'd rather, what's the saying? Like you'd rather leave wanting to stay than stay wanting to leave.
Exactly.
So we're excited. Maybe next year we can spend some more time out there. But this year we got the businesses to worry about.
Yeah, got a lot of stuff back home to do.
So anyway, speaking of which, while you were gone, got a whole lot of nothing done.
Good.
As far as the woodworking business is concerned. I tried to do a batch of cutting boards, which it's so hard. I am a master procrastinator.
Yes, I would agree.
And so, ouch. Anyway, so like you were gone and like the goal was for me to make another batch of cutting boards, which we have cutting boards. So it's very hard, knowing we have 50 cutting boards in the storage unit.
Yes, but they're sold.
It's very hard for me to convince myself to make another batch of boards when we have plenty.
No, I get that.
And I know they're already all sold, which is good. Like we're not carrying a huge amount of inventory, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, what am I doing here? So in my boredom, of course, I'm not going to be productive. I'm going to be distracted. So I started making more YouTube videos. The last month, we've been experimenting with 2 YouTube videos a week. But this last week, we experimented with 5 videos. 5? Yeah, 5 videos in 1 week.
Yeah.
Basically, and again, we talked about this in another podcast, but like, we are the last people on the face of the earth to complain about social media algorithms. Like, that's our responsibility to overcome that. It's their platform. They can do it how they want. It's up to us to play the right game. But at this point in time, it's very apparent that no matter what we do, YouTube is, well, within reason. There's a couple ideas we got to try. But basically, with what our current strategy is posting weekly or posting twice a week or even posting, believe it or not, 5 times a week, YouTube is not showing our channel to any new people.
Yep.
They have like stalled. It's kind of funny. You look at our analytics page, like, I don't know if you guys can see it, but like our subscribers have like plateaued.
Yeah.
They are not letting us hit 100,000. And we even found on the mobile app of the YouTube like analytics stuff, they were showing us that there was some message. I got a screenshot of it, but it basically said like, yeah, you're on track to hit 100,000 in like February or March.
And we're like, what?
And I was like, what? We were supposed to hit 100,000 like last March, according to the growth we've been seeing and all that sort of stuff. And anyway, it's just, they are really throttling how many new people see our channel. And I understand it. Like, YouTube is extremely saturated now. Like, very saturated. And there's so many eyeballs, and you got to pay your dues, I guess. There's some channels that pop off and do crazy viral things, but as far as the slow and steady wins the race, man, that's a tough life. So that's why we've been experimenting with different posting frequencies, is we've been just trying to force feed this algorithm to maybe show our channel to more people.
Right. And if it's going to like cap it or throttle our subscribers, no matter what we do, we're like, then why don't we just throw some stuff at the wall and see what sticks?
This is giving us, so here's the growth mindset part of this is, like we could play very much the victim here. We could say, oh my gosh, YouTube's throttling our subscriber count. Like, this sucks. Like, I hate this.
It's not fair. I'm going to stop.
Right. But we could just use this as an opportunity to experiment. There's been a lot of stuff we've been wanting to try in the last couple of years, but we haven't for whatever reason.
And this is just a good time. Like, why not?
This is a great time, especially because for the first time ever, Jenny and I are looking at making some decisions with the business that will make us rely on the YouTube income. Mm-hmm. And that is very scary.
Yes.
Every YouTuber goes through this. Everybody, quits their job or makes a big leap or signs a lease or buys a big piece of equipment, whatever it is for y'all. Like, every entrepreneur goes through this. And this is just our make or break moment of, are we going to get a commercial space, even though we don't know where the money is going to come from, even though we don't feel like we can trust the YouTube revenue coming in to help pay for it, or the woodworking revenue to help pay for it.
And it's one of those things where it's not that we don't know where the money is going to come from. We know where it's going to come from. It's just how consistent will it be, Right.
And are we going to have enough?
Yeah.
So it's just, man, it's scary. My stomach's turning flips. But at the same time, it's like, what else have we been doing this for? We talk about risk management. We talk about having big goals and all this stuff. So we really just need to take the leap and see how it works. Especially and the thing that gets me most nervous is when I think about employees, because we've hired a part-time editor. We're trying to get them to do more, and we're going to get this commercial space. We're going to hire people to build cutting boards for us. We're going to hire some salespeople. We're looking at hiring half a dozen to a dozen people in the next year or so.
Yeah.
And I just don't see where the money is going to come from.
Right. Because at that point we need consistency.
Right. And I know, anyway, so I know that the money's going to come. We're going to find a way to make it work like we always do. But it's just, my brain right now can't see it. And I don't feel comfortable jumping over the edge of a cliff that I don't see the bottom of.
Yeah.
But that's okay. What else is life for? Anyway, so that's why we're trying to push the numbers and experiment. It's not because we want to grow or we're hooked on the numbers. It's because I want to be able to cut paychecks for somebody consistently so they can trust us, and I need to trust myself and the revenue source in order to do that.
So that means experimenting until we get it right.
Yep. So anyway, we've just been throwing some stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks. I really like the daily content. It's a grind.
Yeah.
We've also, so this is off camera. We have switched to filming on a GoPro. We used to have this really nice Panasonic GH5 camera.
I mean, we still have it. It's not like we sold it or anything, but
it was very expensive. It's a big,
It's bulky. It's hard. It's definitely not a vlogger's camera. It's definitely a...
Well, I mean, it was made, it's primarily a mirrorless video camera.
Yeah.
And it's done amazing for us. But this week I did that experiment with the GoPro, and I put out 5 videos, or 4. I think the first one was still the normal camera. But I put out 4 videos with the newest GoPro, the 10, and not a single person commented on the quality of the video, on the color, or the fact that everything is always in focus all the time. Like, nobody seemed to care. So what that told me, I mean, the GoPro is way easier to use.
Yeah, it's lighter. I mean, it's got more area where you can like hold it. And if you want to set it up on a tripod, you just spread the little like tripod legs out.
Yeah,
and then
you have less adjustability, but the default, the floor is raised, the ceiling is lowered. Does that make sense?
And just straight up the ability to like pick it up and throw it in the car and take it with you.
Right.
I mean, with this camera, we had to be so careful. You know, if we were packing it to like go deliver furniture, like this last set of furniture we just delivered to our friends. We're like, oh, maybe we'll film, but that requires taking the bulky tripod, and then you have to be careful where you set the camera because it was $5,000. So it's like I'm not just gonna throw it in the back seat with the rest of the, the wood and the screws, which we did, but we were just, I feel like I don't have to be quite as careful, and I can do more of what we want.
Right. Well, and plus the GoPro is just faster to use. The user interface is not a real camera. It is just a bunch. It's got 2 buttons on it and a small touch screen. So how much screwing around with it can you actually do?
And if you hand it to an employee who's got 0 experience with camera.
That's why we tried this, is because if we're one of the first people that we're going to hire is someone to hold a camera and film us throughout the day, because we realized we have plenty of footage. We could make 2, 3, 4 videos a week. And the problem is we don't have, take that back. We have time to edit 3, 4, 5 videos a week. We don't have enough footage. So we need to hire somebody to hold a camera around us, and it's got to be an easy enough camera that they're not screwing around with settings and all sorts of stuff like that. So that's the whole reason we've looked at the GoPro, and
because there are a lot of dials on that GH5. Like we've got it down to like,
and it's got its place. We're still going to use it for some, for some B-roll and some cinematic shots, but I think 80% of what we do is going to be done with the GoPro now. So
yeah.
Anyway, that's exciting. That's more than you ever wanted to know about that. But anyway, I thought I would share that. I posted 5 videos this week.
Yeah,
and
that's a lot.
We saw below average new subscriber rates.
Isn't that crazy?
Just YouTube.
How that works.
YouTube is just doing everything they can to like keep us from hitting 100,000. So we're just gonna push into it. I think we're gonna make it a thing. Like I think next week there's gonna be a video. Y'all let me know if you see it or not. But like there's gonna be a video of us, and the thumbnail is just gonna be a piece of paper, and on the piece of paper it says every day till 100K.
Every day till 100K.
I got a couple ideas up my sleeve. First of all, I am not too proud to beg the audience to share our videos. We're bad about that.
And it's not even that like ask him to beg. I feel like we don't often like ask people to share our videos. We just don't.
We're so bad at saying, oh, hey, go watch this other video, or like we have another video on this topic, like every other YouTuber does. So first of all, we're bad at that. But second of all, like we are not... Jennie and I are people that will naturally watch a ton of content. Mm-hmm. If we like a video that we see, we will click on that person's thing and we will go watch 3 or 4 other videos. Most people don't do that.
It's just, what did they see in the first 3 seconds? Was it interesting? Cool. And then watch it. And then what's the next interesting thing? People, as much as they would not admit it, people need to be told what to do. Mm-hmm. And so we need to offer more structure and more instruction on what to do after you watch one of our videos. So we gotta watch another. Right. So we got to be a little bit more proactive there. And I think we'll grow. But yeah, we got a couple tricks up our sleeves. But yeah. And plus, the daily video grind really taught me what is essential in a YouTube video. Like, the story is all that matters. Right. We talked about it. The gear doesn't matter. Your camera angles, you can have some fun with it. But if you're not keeping people engaged in the story with your camera angles and stuff like that, they're pointless. Nobody is watching your videos because they're pretty. Like, there are accounts on YouTube for that. They've got millions of subscribers, but if you're going to do that, you need to be full into that. Right. You're talking about like National Geographic level. Like, I don't want to compete with that. I've got a better story than I've got a better camera. Yeah. And better video skills. So, yeah. And we just need to lean on the story and less on the technology part of it. So, yeah.
That's a lot about that.
Yeah.
What else are we going to talk about?
That's pretty much what we've been up to for the most part. Gosh.
Oh, you know what? We had a question. Let me pull this up. Jenny, you talk about something else.
Okay. I'll talk about something else. But yeah, so now it's just catching back up. I've been gone for a while, so I tried to keep up with some sales while I was gone. I did make a few sales calls for my hotel room in St. Croix, which had some very spotty service at times. But I feel like I was only operating at like 30% of what I normally do for sales. So I'm excited to get back, catch up with some people. Over the last 2 weeks, I've been making lists of people I want to send boards to and reach out to. So I'm excited to finally dig into that because it's kind of a long list.
All right, I got our question. Sorry.
Who sent you a question?
So a couple weeks ago, sorry that it's taken this long to get to it. A couple weeks ago, this guy named Richard sent us a message, and he was basically asking, do you have any advice for someone trying to start their woodworking business who is also working a full-time job? I think we know a little bit about that. So yeah, if you don't know, our first furniture business was in North Dakota, and we were both working full-time Air Force jobs.
Yes.
What that looked like was, for me, I was working 80 hours a week. I would go out for these 36-hour shifts. I'd do that 2 or 3 times a week, and you'd be working, 60 hours a week in the office or something like that. So plenty of, time. And then not only that, we were plugged in with the church, so we were volunteering and doing stuff with that. We also had a social life. We had a friend group that we'd always go do stuff with. And then on top of all that, we had the YouTube channel. And then on top of the YouTube channel, we were running this furniture business.
Yeah.
So I know we didn't have kids at the time. We still don't. But fight me. We had as much going on as new parents. I will die on that hill. I'm sorry. I just will. We had so much going on. You cannot use kids as an excuse for why you didn't start your business. Plenty of people have done it before. Anyway, but we had a lot going on.
Yeah. And
we did reach a point where we were burned out.
Yeah, definitely.
So we just posted a YouTube video this last week about, I forget what we ended up titling it.
I just remember the thumbnail was you sleeping on a pillow of cutting boards.
Yeah. So the video, first I'll direct you to that video so that you avoid burnout, that you don't do what we did the wrong way. Go watch that video. It's our tips to avoiding burnout, or our secret to avoiding burnout, or something like that. Go watch that video. We talk about how, I guess I'm just going to spoil the video. No, I don't need to do that. I'm not going to spoil the video. Go watch the video. We just talked about this. I'm sabotaging myself. But hey, Richard, thanks for sending in the question. But basically, the first time we ran our furniture business was in North Dakota, and we were doing a lot on the side.
I just feel like we weren't organized enough about it. I think whenever we had pockets of time available, that's when we'd edit, or that's when we'd film or finish up projects.
Right.
But we could have been a little bit more hey, from 6 to 7 a.m. on these days, we do this. And because we weren't quite as reliant on Google Calendar and everything as we are now.
Right. So that's another thing. So I guess step 1 is structure your time. Take responsibility for your calendar and block out your time and stay disciplined. If you can't do that, I'm sorry, a business is not for you. I'm just being straight up honest. It's made all the
difference for us.
If you can't force yourself to be disciplined, to follow a calendar and block your time off, then you are never going to be able to build what you need to run a successful business. Because if you don't do it based on a calendar, you're just going to do it by the seat of your pants. And that's what we did. And we built up a business and we sold some stuff. But by the end of it, I don't know, 6-8 months into it, we were so burned out, we had to take a huge break from it. We were not able to continue doing what we were doing in North Dakota. We had to sell the house and we had to move. So fortunately, the stars aligned and we got to take a break from the business right about the time we were getting burned out. But that's why we preach organization and calendars and structures, is because we were at our wits' end in North Dakota. So step 1, structure your time, be responsible for a calendar and blocking your time out. Like Jennie said, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., I'm going to knock out all my emails. From 8 to 10, I'm going to do, whatever you do at work, and then take your lunch, come back, knock your stuff out at work. Try to negotiate time off. If you can work from home and get all your stuff done, then try to negotiate for that. COVID has opened the door like wide open
even
for
if
people.
it's not every day of the week. Maybe you have 2 days that you're allowed to work from home. Man, those days, like,
if you can put your head down and be productive, because like if you work in an office or if you work in a place with other people, you know that like at least half the day is spent just talking to other people.
Right. And
if you put your head down and worked remotely 2 days a week, I don't know what type of job you do. If it's an office job, if you put your head down and did 4 hours of really focused work, that's at least a full 8-hour day's worth of tasks.
Well, and that's what we've been hearing from people like during COVID. It's like, I like working from home better because I get more done.
Well, there's lazy people, but I don't think Richard is that kind of person.
If you're asking questions like, how do I run a business while having a full-time job? I feel like you're not the lazy type of person. So
yeah. So step 1, be like disciplined with your calendar. Step 2, maybe try to negotiate for some work from home type arrangement where your productivity goes up even though you're spending fewer hours in the office. I don't know any boss in the world with half a brain that would not elect for that option. And then I guess what's next?
Oh gosh, the organization was, I think that was the key. That was the biggest
Start with what is valuable in your community.
Yes.
A lot of times we see people, they're like, oh, I turn these bowls and I want to sell my bowls. Okay, cool. But like, is there a market for bowls?
Do people want bowls?
I'm not saying there's not. I'm just saying, like, don't make what you want to make and then go try to sell it. Find what people want to buy and then learn how to make that.
Because let's be honest, like if you're working a full-time job, you don't have a whole lot of time and you need to be efficient with it. So rather than, spending the first year, so you do all this hard work, right? You do all this hard work to negotiate work from home time with your boss. And then you spend the first year of it, like, not selling, not being able to sell what you make. And instead of, spending that first year, like just figuring out the market, you could spend a solid like month just doing nothing but like studying the market. And then right out of the gate, you're selling what people want.
Right, because like Jennie said, if you spend the first year trying to sell your bowls to people that don't want bowls, then you're going to hate the business, you're going to shut it down, you're going to get mad at us because we talked you into it. Like, this happens.
Yeah.
People do this, and it's because they didn't start with what the people wanted. Like, I cannot preach that enough. We need to do more conscious, like, teaching on that lesson on our YouTube videos, but like, you need to start with what people want. Don't just try to sell something you enjoy making. I'm sorry. Like, if you turn pens, like, there's a market for pens.
There definitely is.
But it is really saturated. Unless your pens are really special or a lot of people personally who want to support you, it's going to be really hard to build a business.
Or maybe you get a contract with a larger company that buys your pens and sells them.
Sure.
You got to figure it out. But.
Right, but you've got to start with the demand first. Mm-hmm. Start with the demand and be a little bit more flexible on what it is that you make. And then from there, you can find what your local community or what niche you sort of fall into.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess that's the advice we can offer there. So,
yeah. But if you ever want to email us more questions,
yes, please.
Yes, please do so. We would love to answer them. It's letsquitpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes. All one word, just letsquitpodcast@gmail.com. And we'd love to answer your questions on the show. Thanks again, Richard, for the submission. I hope that our advice was totally helpless. And yeah, best of luck.
No, you're going to do great.
Yeah. So, man, is there anything else?
Man, I've been trying to think.
I'm tired. Do you hear? I'm stopped up.
You are stopped up. I literally just got home last night.
Yep.
And we started recording this right away this morning.
It's 9 a.m. this morning. Yep. So
I just got done unpacking. So we are... I don't know, but we were excited to come talk to you guys. We were like, we haven't done a podcast in so long. When do you want to record it? Later today or now? And we're like, let's do it now. So it's been good talking to you guys.
Yep.
I'm trying to think if we've had anything else like significant going on. Did you do anything cool while I was gone?
Nope.
So lots of YouTube videos, some climbing.
Oh, Jennie and I joined a young adult like kickball league.
Yeah.
So that's been fun. So we lost our first game. My team was supposed to play your team.
And then I was gone, obviously. I was in St. Croix, so I couldn't play with my team. But my team still beat Davis's team.
Yep. So that was fun. It was just kind of funny to see all these like, I don't know. The age spread is pretty wide. It's like some people are like right out of college, and then some people are in their like late 30s, and it's just funny to see. Like it's just high school never ends. It just
yes.
like it's like the same social dynamics Anyway.
Like the jocks and the athletes.
It's funny to see some of these like old, I don't want to say old people, but like older people who like think they're way more athletic than they're. So there is a difference between having muscles and being athletic. Because there was a lot of guys there that like obviously went to the gym every day, but then when they tried to sprint to first base, they're like they strained their calf or they like tripped and fell, and it was just kind of funny. But yeah.
Did you laugh at people when they fell? So you stood on first base and laughed right at them?
Internally, I did. I wouldn't do that publicly. That's kind of rude. But anyway, I think that's it. We're so close to our 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? With the intro, we're going to hit 30 minutes. So.
Oh my gosh. Do we have any other announcements?
Nope.
I think I have an announcement.
What?
I haven't put it on Instagram yet, but I'm going to do it shortly. I meant to do it earlier. We have some new merch coming.
Oh, cool.
And we're super excited about it. This is literally, this merch that's coming has come directly from you guys. This is like a recommendation that we've gotten in comments, in Instagram DMs, and we've been kind of sitting on it for a while.
I think you know what it is.
But we finally got the design done, and I'm so stoked to show you guys.
It's pretty good.
It is pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
So, are you going to tell them what it is, or you just gonna tease it?
Go check our Instagram story.
Okay, cool.
I'll reveal it over the next few days. But, yeah.
Sweet. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, and hopefully we'll be back next week with a better episode than this one.
All right. Talk to you later, guys.